lovely internet friends. Welcome to another day of becoming our best selves. If you're just tuning in, this is actually the second video in a little series about deep work that I'm creating. So if you haven't already, I recommend checking out the first video and coming back to this one when you're done. I'm really excited for this video because we are going to be talking about values. How to identify your core values or reconnect with them if you already know, how to use those values to create a personal code of sorts, and how to establish rituals that allow you to embody your values in your day-to-day. This is a topic I have explored pretty extensively. As I mentioned in my previous video, I've done a lot of work around the subject, and it is truly such a rewarding endeavor to get in touch with your own values. Core values are important because they fundamentally reflect how you see yourself or would like to see yourself. In the context of Cal Newport's plan, values also provide you with a roadmap for how you should approach your life and offer you a type of safety net for when things get tough. So what exactly is a core value? Well, simply put, it's a trait or quality that we view in a positive way. More than that, though, core values represent our highest priorities, deeply held beliefs, and fundamental driving forces. Most people probably have at least some idea of what drives them, but if you're struggling to identify those values that are really central to your belief system, an exercise that I found particularly helpful is one that I learned from Brené Brown. The exercise is pretty simple. All you have to do is sit yourself down in front of a list of values and start by circling 10 or so that stand out to you the most. Once you've done that, spend some time narrowing it down to your top 2. You'll know you picked the right ones when, in Brené's words, you feel a deep resonance of self-identification when looking at them. Any list should suffice, but I'm going to leave a link to Brené Brown's list as well as her podcast episode on the subject in case anyone is interested in diving a little bit deeper into the subject. Hi! So at this point in Cal Newport's 4-month framework, I have established my 3 keystone habits, worked on making them a priority in my routine and just being really consistent with them, and have also solidified my top 2 core values. In order to really connect with your core values, Cal suggests revisiting something that resonated with you in that way in the past. My own personal core values are authenticity and reliability, and the first thing that came to mind was a book that I read once before called Living Nonviolent Communication. This book really struck a chord with me the first time I read it because it teaches you how to communicate authentically and from the heart, but also how to take ownership for your own emotions so that you can be a more reliable advocate for yourself and others. It's been quite a while since I last read that book, so I'm looking forward to getting into it again and just seeing what new things resonate with me this time around. The other piece of Cal's plan to connect with your values in a deeper way is to create rituals that allow you to really embody them. I believe he talks about being out in nature and meditating, things of that nature that really ground you and help you live into those values. I really like the idea of meditation as a ritual because it's something that I used to practice a lot in the past and unfortunately have kind of left behind as I've gone through a lot of life changes. So bringing that back is definitely something that sounds appealing to me. But I also just want to take some time to break down those values and really get a clear understanding on what it means to me to embody them. That's all I've got for this little check-in, but I look forward to sharing more once I have that figured out.
3 weeks later.
Hi. Um, at the time of recording this, it is like October 22nd, I think. I don't know. It's a Monday, towards the end of October. I'm gonna go with the 22nd. Truthfully, I don't exactly know the date. I wanted to, oh my gosh. Hi. Hello. I wanted to just sit down and talk about how things have been going for me because this month has been kind of a whirlwind. I've been trying really hard to stick to the plan, and it's been going okay. I would say that I've accomplished like 60% of the things that I wanted to, but I'm starting to notice some flaws in this structure, just for me personally. So I wanted to talk about that and just kind of share with you all about things that maybe aren't taken into consideration when creating frameworks like this one. Because I can't ever just do things in like a chill, calm way, I have to multitask. So I'm going to be working on a little Halloween craft as I talk about my thoughts thus far. We're going to be doing paper mache today. I have no idea how this is going to go. I was really inspired by another creator. I want to say that her name is Sarah. I'll leave a video down below because I'm a real ass bitch and I give credit where credit's due. So if you want to see how she did this project, go give her video a watch because it's great. She's really funny. Also, I'm a huge Over the Garden Wall fan, and this is gonna fulfill a lot of things for me. So let's talk about this deep life framework at this stage in the plan. We are almost done with the second phase of 4 phases, so almost halfway through, and it's been going well. As I said, I definitely have noticed some pros coming out of this. The first one being that I am so much more aware of how I'm spending my time. I will catch myself, scrolling through YouTube or playing one of my stupid mobile games, and I'll just like shake myself out of it and be like, whoa, this is like not actually how I want to spend my time right now. And then I will just get up and I'll go do something that is actually productive. So that's been really interesting because I don't really feel like I've had that awareness in a really long time. I feel like, as a lot of you could probably relate, when you're just scrolling through Instagram, you just get sucked into it. Same with TikTok. Like, you could go an hour just watching stupid shit and you don't even realize that an hour has passed. Now it's like maybe 10 minutes max, and that's like, actually really pushing it. I would say it's more like after a few minutes, I'm just like, whoa, let's shift gears. Let's go do something else. So that's been really nice. I feel like that's helped me tremendously in getting tasks done. And speaking of tasks, I've noticed that my creativity is coming back. I've worked on several different craft projects this month, and I haven't done that in a really long time. I don't know if it's necessarily because of this plan specifically, But I do think that because I'm spending less time scrolling through Instagram and things like that, I feel a lot more full in terms of like my mental capacity. And so I've just been picking up different projects here and there and like really putting myself fully into them. Now, I'll be honest, it's not all rainbows and butterflies. It's compromise that moves us along. But in all seriousness, there's definitely been some roadblocks as we are going through this fun little process. Because this particular segment requires you to be so focused on your values, I think I've come to realize that I'm not really living into my values as much as I would like to be. Now, I'm the kind of person that is pretty familiar with their own values. I think I know what matters most to me, but behaving in ways that, I guess, I don't know, promote those values, that's a little bit harder to do. You know, it's easy to become familiar with your own values, but actually living them out is a whole nother story. Oh my god, my hair is everywhere! Anyways, as we talked about, authenticity is my top value. I want to feel like I'm being authentic with everything that I do. I want people to feel as though they can be their authentic selves around me. I guess I want my actions to reflect that, obviously. And it's actually really hard because of a lot of reasons. You know, I'm a people pleaser, so I don't always hold true to my authentic self in situations where someone is maybe expecting something different from me, or, you know, I just am maybe not being totally honest about how I'm doing with things. But also, just internal things make it really difficult, like anxiety and insecurity. Insecurity makes you act out in really gross ways, and I've been struggling with that a lot this month. The insecurity thing is just a piece that I am now trying to figure out. And so I guess all of that to say that this is not as smooth of a process as I kind of thought it would be. I thought it would just be like, oh yeah, like we're totally living in our values now and this is great and blah blah blah, but no, it like feels like I'm fighting with myself every day just to try to like, first of all, like be aware of my bad habits and then trying to learn how to like deal with them. And that is an ongoing battle that I'm not really sure how long that's going to take. I would imagine a lot longer than just a month and potentially even longer than 4 months. So stay tuned on that. But that kind of segues into the other piece of, the downside of this framework is that I don't particularly feel like it accounts for emotional fluctuations. I am somebody who has very high functioning depression, meaning that most of the time I'm able to just distract myself with things and carry on like normal, go about my business as one should. But as I kind of mentioned in the end of my last video, it does sneak up on you sometimes and makes it very hard to get shit done. So I've been battling that, and I don't really know where that fits into the framework. I feel like there are things that I have kind of failed at because I'm just drained from the depression. And I wish that there was a little bit more guidance on how to work past that, or like account for that, because it just kind of feels like you're supposed to go and go and go and like get everything right every day. And if you start to fall behind, there's not really any advice that I've found so far about like how to, I don't know if like catch up is the right word, but just like, I mean, yeah, I guess catch up. I don't know. So that's where I'm at right now. I've just kind of been trying to address all of the unexpected things that have come up while doing this. Hey. I'm just gonna say it, this particular video is gonna be a mess. This past month has been so busy. I feel like I've just been having a hard time keeping track of everything, and we are now roughly 2 to 3 weeks behind schedule, so doing great. Without going into too much detail, I've also been dealing with some pretty weird health matters. So I just haven't really felt like filming. Regardless, I still wanted to get this video out and at least talk a little bit about the rituals that I came up with for myself, just because that's the whole point, right? But also I just think that I've come up with some really like nice, profound things in the last month or so. Like, I've been doing a lot of thinking, don't get me wrong. I've been thinking about a lot of stuff. I just haven't fully been acting on them. So that's where we're at. I don't remember if I already mentioned this, but my 2 core values are authenticity and reliability. Kind of fell short on the reliability part this time, but we persist nonetheless. In order to find meaningful rituals, I spent some time thinking about what each value really means to me. So for example, for authenticity, I broke it down into like 3 key characteristics, which are openness, healthy boundaries, and a balanced ego. I'm someone that kind of struggles with social anxiety, so I'm not always super open to meeting new people or having new experiences. So, a ritual that I want to start practicing is just saying yes more. Saying yes to things outside my comfort zone. Saying yes to myself when it comes to just like being myself. And saying yes to interactions that I might normally try to shy away from. With that said, I want to make sure that I'm not compromising, my safety or mental and emotional well-being. So it's super important for me to also maintain healthy boundaries. To do that, I want to make it a regular ritual to check in with myself through journaling, and just take the time to reflect on, whether certain experiences are like benefiting me or harming me, and just being like more aware of that. And lastly, having a balanced ego is crucial to being your authentic self because it allows you to carry yourself without the influence of like any external factors. Lately, I've been noticing that I've been seeking a lot of external validation, as well as like kind of trying to control the actions of others. And it's like really not doing me any good. There's a book I really love called Crazy Wisdom, and it talks about the life and teachings of Padmasambhava. And there is this idea explored in that book called ruthless, or, not, it's called ruthlessness, but it's really just the idea of being unwavering and not allowing external factors to push you in unhealthy directions. It's this idea of like extinguishment in a way. I don't remember if it's that specific book or another book. I'm kind of rambling. But they talk about letting the flame extinguish itself and kind of letting the energy of certain situations. This is so hard to explain, but basically, like, not trying to direct the energy in any specific way, but just letting it like act out in the way that it's going to. Okay, I'm just going to read from this book directly because I know that I'm not going to be able to explain it in a way that makes sense, but here's how it's explained by someone who knows what they're talking about. How does ruthlessness apply to the destruction of ego? To which they answer, it is the ego's intensity that brings forth uncompassionate measures. In other words, when neurosis and confusion reach an extreme point, the only way to correct the confusion is by destroying it. The process of destruction is demanded by the confusion itself rather than it being a question of somebody thinking it is a good idea to destroy the confusion by force. And the force part is really like key to all this. The intensity of confusion itself demands its own destruction. Ruthlessness is just putting that energy into action. It is just letting that energy burn itself out rather than you're killing something. Ego is killing itself and you're providing the accommodation for that. So that's a lot. You're probably like, where the hell are you going with this? But I want to make that the ritual. You know the saying, water off a duck's back? That's what that is to me. Just letting things play out the way that they're going to and not trying to like hold on to situations so much, but also taking responsibility for myself and noticing when things aren't like right within myself and not putting that responsibility on anyone else, if that makes sense. So yeah, that'll probably, come in the form of breath work, meditation, and honestly, just all of the other things that I'm doing. I think that working on myself is very ritualistic. I think that all of the things that I'm doing are becoming their own unique rituals. And I think that's all really going to contribute to like my perception of myself and just like the overall balance of the ego. All of the rituals that I've chosen for authenticity are kind of conceptual in a way. I feel like the ones for reliability are a lot more like physical or concrete. Just as an example, I think that self-care is really important when it comes to staying reliable, for yourself and others. So having at least a day out of the week where I do all of the things that I need to do to feel rested and pampered is going to be really important because I need to feel whole in order to be reliable. I also think that communication is really important when it comes to being reliable because you not only know how to speak up for yourself and others, but also knowing when not to say anything, things that you keep to yourself, things that are told in confidence. So for that, I think I want to do more like educational things, like take LinkedIn learning classes for like professional communication, continue reading books for my own like personal communication. There's a lot that I'm trying to work on in terms of attachment styles and things like that. So that is another thing that I plan to incorporate into my life. And then the last action that I put under reliability was setting and achieving goals, because it proves to myself that I can be held accountable. It proves to myself that I am capable, and therefore boosts my confidence and makes me a more reliable team member, and also just gives me consistency within my own life. So, again, like I kind of said already, like this whole process is contributing to those rituals already. So it's just a matter of keeping up with that and just becoming a pro at, caring for myself. That's really all it is. One of my favorite quotes is, self-discipline is an act of self-care. And I know like people kind of shy away from that word discipline because it sounds scary, but like holding yourself accountable and staying consistent in the things that matter to you are like those things go such a long way. And it can be hard at times. You can feel very exhausted, like I've been feeling, not because of this, but just like other stuff going on in my life. But when you are consistent with things that contribute to your well-being, like future you is going to look back and thank your past self. So that's kind of been my mantra lately, and it's getting me through. We're trying our best. But yeah, that is just a quick recap of what I've been doing the last month or so. I hope that the next video is going to be a little bit more cohesive. I love that I was like, oh yeah, I have so much prep for this, like it's gonna be so good, and then this video was just kind of a shit show. But we live and we learn, and if you made it this far, thank you for tuning in. The next segment of the framework is also meant to be a month long. It is the control section of the framework, which kind of goes over, I think it's like scheduling, planning out routines, that kind of thing, which I definitely need because I have like all of the things that I know that I want to do, but I'm still having a difficult time like finding harmony in all of that, if that makes sense. So that should be fun. I'm working on getting all of the supplies that I need for that, just like more planners and things of that nature. So that is going to be a good time, I guess. I don't know. I'm going to go. I'm going to go before I keep rambling. Thank you so much for your time, and I hope to see you in the next video. Bye!